we're going to employ a reverse sear cooking technique. I'm happy to show this with you. I've done them many different methods in the past, but by far, this is going to be the best. You're not going to want to do it any other way. And it's basically going to require a long, slow cooking time up front, and that sear is going to come at the end. Therefore, it's called a reverse sear. So what I have here today with me is an actual 7 rib. It's a full rib primal. We're going to cut this down a little bit. We're not going to do the entire piece. So I'm going to get my working gloves on because we're going to do a little work for you. Now this rib actually weighs about 20 pounds. That's pretty big. Usually on average they're about 15, 18 pounds. So we're going to remove a little part of it. We're not going to do this whole thing. I'm going to go 4 ribs from the large end. Now, when you go to the market and you're talking to your butcher and you're asking for a prime rib, generally speaking, we're referring to either the small end, which is the end towards the loin, or the large end, which is the end up towards the chuck. Also, they're commonly known as the 4th through 7th rib, which will be the large end towards the chuck, or the 1st through 3rd rib, which is a smaller end towards the loin. Now, I like to explain to my customers when they don't know how to choose. Basically, a rib has a quote unquote white meat, dark meat quality to it. If you're a dark meat person, you want the chuck end. It's much richer in flavor. It has a deeper beef flavor. It's going to have more enhanced cap, which everybody loves. It's probably the best part on the rib. You'll have a greater cap to it than on the small end. Once you get to the small end or the part towards the strip loin, you're not really going to have that cap. So let's knock this down. We're going to take 4 ribs off the. Okay, I went with 3 ribs. So we're gonna prep this up. We're going to trim it down a little bit. Remove some of this fat cap on the outside. This will save for a later preparation. You want to leave some of this fat up on top because that'll protect it while roasting. When you go to your butcher shop and you're talking to your butcher, a general rule of thumb for serving size on a bone-in rib roast, I would go 1.5 pounds per person. This happens to be a 3 rib that we're gonna do, and I would say it weighs 7 pounds. And this is gonna feed 4 to 6 people. We're gonna take this, we're gonna salt and pepper it 24 hours ahead of time, exactly like our dry brine technique. We're gonna get it ready for the oven. We got a preheated 250-degree oven. Now, with the reverse sear method, we're looking for a finished temperature. So we're gonna get it into the oven at 250, and we're gonna leave it at that temperature till it reaches a desired internal temperature. So 120 is for rare, 125 will be for medium rare, 130 will be for medium. Now, that's not gonna be the actual finished temp. Once it's removed from the oven, it's gonna have some carryover cook time, and that temperature will rise anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees. So that way you'll get your roast out of there before it gets a little bit too done. We have our oven preheated to 250. Now, it's very important to get yourself a thermometer. This is something I like to use. Get yourself one. They're very, very economical. You'll find them in Target, most any department store. But what we want to do, you want to take your thermometer, make sure the point is situated in the center of the roast. So you want to go to the middle and insert it about halfway through and end it right there. We're gonna do medium rare, which is 125 degrees. So we're gonna put this in the oven and let it go till it reaches 125 degrees. All right, we're ready to go to the oven with our rib roast. I've got my thermometer positioned just where it needs to be. I also went ahead and coated the external surface of the rib with olive oil. You can use clarified butter. Don't use butter, it'll burn. You can also apply any types of seasoning or herbs to this before you put it in, garlic, but don't use fresh herbs because it's only gonna burn during the roasting process. So dried herbs are fine. A little bit of garlic powder, garlic salt, anything to enhance the flavors. I like to just go with salt and pepper and let the meat shine, let it do its thing. So we got a 250-degree preheated oven. The rib is going in. Like I said, very important to use a thermometer. These are great. They got a little magnetic holding. You can put it right on the side, insert, and that's it. We'll come back when we reach 125 degrees. Our prime rib just hit 125 degrees. It's taken about 3.5 hours. It was a 6.5 pound prime rib, and that's pretty much average, 3 to 4 hours for something that size to reach 125 degrees. We're gonna remove it from the oven. Beautiful. All right, our prime rib is out of the oven. It's at 125 degrees. And at this point, we're gonna let it rest for 45 minutes. We wanna tent it with foil very loosely. And then 45 minutes from now, we're gonna get it back into the oven. That's where we'll do the reverse sear. We're gonna get it back into the oven at 500 degrees for another 10 minutes. All right, it's been 45 minutes. It's had its rest. We're gonna remove the foil, get it back into the oven. Now it's been preheated to 500. Make sure you get that oven preheated to 500 when you do this. You don't wanna be wasting time waiting for it to get back up to temperature. So it's back in at 500. We're gonna give it 10 more minutes and then we'll remove it. So our prime rib has been in the oven doing its reverse sear. We've had it in there at 500 degrees for 10 minutes and it's time to remove it. You can hear that crackling. It looks absolutely delicious. All right, we're gonna bring it to the carving table. We got our prime rib ready for carving. What I did is I sliced the ribs off the back, the whole plate, and sliced them up into individual ribs. We cut the rib roast in half, and I went ahead and sliced some slices off of it for you to see. But this is the finished product. As you can see, this reverse sear does a tremendous job. You're gonna find that you'll have the same degree of doneness from the external surface right through the center. You're not finding that you have a brown, a little more well done halo around the roast, which will lead to drying out. And generally what we wanna do is slice off 3/4 inch slices for service. And here's our 2 slices of delicious medium rare prime rib. Once again, we went to 125 on this. That'll generally give you something medium rare. 120 for rare, 125 for medium rare, 130 for medium. Nothing left to do now but give it a taste. My God, outstanding. Very beefy, very juicy. What's there not to like about a nice prime rib? Folks, I hope you do one of these for Christmas. Everybody's gonna love it. And do the reverse sear. It's the best way. I wouldn't do it any other way. Comes out right every time. So that's it for now. Tommy the Butcher saying, like and subscribe for more tips. Hope I see you later. Keep on smoking.